Hello, everyone in Social Work 668 program evaluation. Welcome to week 12. Let me just share my screen really quick. And while I am doing that, we are going to focus this week on the topics of diversity, difference, privilege, and personal experience. So we're going to take a tiny bit of a step back from the material we've been covering for the past 11 weeks and really tackle a topic where we are placing ourselves in the position of an external evaluator. So we want to get into the mindset of an external evaluator to really look at a case study to think about how we would evaluate that while taking into consideration diversity, difference, privilege, and personal experience. So before we get into this week's topic, I asked you to complete a brief survey this week. Most of you in this class are doing really phenomenally. Some of you are struggling with this idea of measurement. So particularly related to the program evaluation assignment, I want you to really think about how you are going to measure the outcomes related to your logic model. So look, a couple of things to focus on. So I want you to take a look back at your logic model, and several of you have a lot of outcomes. I want you to choose one or two that you can measure that have valid measures out in the literature. That can be scales related to depression, well-being, food insecurity, etc. If there is no measure to look at what you want to increase and decrease amongst your population of focus, you can do a couple things. Some of you have gotten creative and you've looked at counts. So how many people, let's say, are attending the program? That's another way to do it. Looking at something you can count, that's also a form of measurement. Others of you are taking more of a qualitative evaluation approach, which is also okay. That would require that you develop your own interview guide. And remember, we would administer that interview guide probably pre-implementation of the intervention and post-implementation of the intervention. So therefore, we'd be able to assess the qualitative differences in the lives of our population of focus based on that intervention. So 3 pathways. I always say the path of least resistance would be to find a validated and reliable measure in the literature, choosing just one outcome. Second, if that's not possible, look and see what you can count. And third, maybe approach this qualitatively. So if you are struggling and this is making absolutely no sense to you, you and I need to get together like within the next week and think of an action plan. Please communicate with me ASAP. I'm also available for individualized feedback. I've helped several of you kind of locate measures, look at your outcomes, and lastly, pay very close attention to my feedback on your journals from last week, because I gave you a lot of feedback around if you are on the right track with your measure, thumbs up, or if we really need to think about this a little bit deeper and look a little bit closer in the literature. Okay, so this session, we are focusing on a documentary film. It's really a series called College Behind Bars, and it's about the Bard Prison Educational Program. And what I want you to do this week, there is a link to College Behind Bars, the documentary. And there also is an NPR episode, which is how those of us in this course found out about the BARD educational program. And it really looks at what the impact is of helping people who are incarcerated access educational resources and what that looks like for them long term. So we want to put our external evaluator hat on and try to think about ways we can really look at evaluating the Bard Prison Educational Program within the context of watching and listening to at least episode 1 of College Behind Bars. And then also, I think it's really helpful to listen to the NPR episode of Fresh Air that does a deeper dive into it as well. So those are kind of the 2 resources that you need to listen to and watch this week to be able to complete the journal. I also want to remind you that the program evaluation assignment is due November 28th. And we also have one last assignment, which is our upcoming final presentations. This week, later on, I am going to also post an individualized interview under your assignments tab, where I walk you through all the steps of your final program evaluation. And I am also going to schedule one more asynchronous session for those that are interested, to really go into answering your questions around the program evaluation. And lastly, we have our upcoming professional presentations, where you are walking us through the steps of your program evaluation, which is due December 5th. Okay, so I wanted to take some time to just prepare you for what the professional presentation looks like. This is pretty brief, 7 minutes maximum. What I would like you to do is to prepare a PowerPoint with audio, or you can do what I do every week and use YouTube. You can also use an alternate visual medium if that works better for you. But regardless of medium, the narrative and notes are required. So please put those, let's say you're using PowerPoint, below in the notes section of each slide. Again, 7 minutes, and the content should correspond with the material in the program evaluation assignment. So we want you to kind of walk us through the steps of the program evaluation. We want it to be clear and concise, well rehearsed, and remember, you only have 7 minutes. So it really should just be a summary of your paper. Okay, our final session where we are going to have serious content will be next week, and we are going to focus on cost effectiveness, cost analysis, and pragmatic issues related to program implementation and evaluation. And lastly, I just want to remind you how proud I am of you all. Of all the classes I have taught in program evaluation, your cohort has been the most successful in terms of just getting everything in on time. I don't really have one person right now that's failing the course. Please check your grades to make sure that they are lining up with how you are thinking you're doing in the course. All of you are going to be successful in this course. I know it. And just to remind us of kind of a inspirational quote for this week from Maya Angelou: success is liking yourself, liking what you do, and liking how you do it. And all of you, I am liking how you are doing this semester and tackling so much. Thank you so much for all of your hard work, and we will make it through. We only have a few weeks left. All right, take care, everybody, and have a great week 12.